Good morning. Yes, when I got that call from Diane on Thursday afternoon, I was just delighted at the invitation and said, absolutely, I can be there. And then I said, I have no clue what I'll speak on, but Spirit will handle it. And within seconds after we ended that call, the voice came in and said, base it on the 4 agreements. Now, I love the 4 agreements, have since it came out. You know, I looked at when it was published, it's almost 30 years ago. So I guess that means most of us were teenagers then. But it impacted me, it changed my life. And 2 particular agreements, 2 and 3, which we'll speak about, they just are with me all the time and come in so often. It's just part of my being. I consider them part of my spiritual tool belt of tools that I need when things get a little funky. So I am delighted to be here today with you. And before I dive right into the 4 agreements, I want to just make note that, you know, we're living in strange and different times, and very difficult times for some people. And sometimes it's easy to get agitated, confused, hurt, angry, frightened, whatever it is. I just remembered I'm not bound to this. I'm mic'd up today. Thank you. I can move. Anyway, so what I wanted to start with is something from our founder and the author of The Science of Mind, and just such a driving force behind so much in the metaphysical movement, and that's Dr. Ernest Holmes. And so, I forget, the screens are up here now. So he led into this and said, let us learn to practice faith until all fear disappears, until life ceases to be a funeral dirge and becomes a song of joy. To find peace in the midst of confusion, we must realize our center in pure spirit. To reach this place of confidence and faith in the midst of doubt and uncertainty, we should consciously unite our thought with the divine mind. And we're talking about agreements in a moment. And I looked up, for my own purposes, what is an agreement? Specifically, what is an alignment? Can those be synonymous? Well, not quite. They're a smidge off, but close. And also uniting with divine mind. We align with divine mind. We agree that we're one with divine mind. So I would suggest that you all, and many of you may have your own spiritual toolboxes or go-tos that help bring you back to center. And so I say, when we're faced with fear or anxiety or just nervousness, like before you get on a stage or a dais, that we just consider something like this: taking a nice, long, slow, deep breath, deep into the center of our being, and then declare a truth statement like such. I am one with divine mind. I align my thoughts and feelings with that God presence within me, the energetic force of all creation. I allow the calm, peace, wisdom, and strength of that presence to guide, guard, sustain, and protect me every day in every way. I am safe and secure and surrounded by love. And that's just what came to me when I was starting this talk. So now, here's what I'll say about spiritual tools. I had memory issues even way back when, and so big, long things were a challenge for me, so I like little short tidbits. So, but if you resonate with either of these readings or anything else that's special to you, then as you read that and speak it to yourself, bring it into every fiber of your being. Bring it into every cell. Own it. Feel. What does it mean when I'm uniting my thought with the divine? Can I feel it now? Yeah. Once you really have that feeling as a go-to automatically, then if you get rattled about something, you can just say something, a little short declaration like divine life, or all is well, All is well in my life and in my world. One that I have used and love a lot is God in the midst of me is mighty. I like that one when I have second thoughts, when I'm nervous about a meeting or a phone call or whatever it may be. God in the midst of me is mighty. And I have to tell you, that one came out of, it was the little spiritual clip from a Unity Daily Word 100 years ago. But that has been one of my absolute go-tos. So let's just say this. What is an agreement? Webster defines an agreement as harmony of opinion, action, or character. First definition. Second, an arrangement or understanding as a contract or treaty about action to be taken. I would say that most of us here are already in some sort of agreement. And I say that because, one, we share a harmony of opinion, the science of mind philosophy and teachings and metaphysics overall. Two, we share an action, getting ourselves here this morning. Three, we share a character, curiosity, and interest in spiritual growth, enjoying a safe and welcoming environment, and positive life messages. That sounds pretty much like we're already in agreement. So, would you agree that that seems that we are in some agreement already? Besides agreement with others, Ruiz delves into the agreements we've made throughout our lives, from birth on. And essentially, these are with all the people and even the institutions, whether it's schools, businesses, jobs, whatever, in our lives. Our families, our friends, our teachers, our employers, partners, and so on. These agreements wind up being who we think we are or who we think we are not, how we should act, what we can or cannot do. And the list seems endless about how we should show up in the world. And they can, of course, shift over time just naturally. Life is shifting all the time. Don Miguel sheds light on how these inner agreements come into play and the staggering effects they can have in our life, because most of them reach the point where subconsciously we're working from them. We're not even consciously aware that we're doing that. And he also offers insights on new agreements. Agreements to help us choose new agreements for ourselves and just break off any old agreements that as we dig deeper into our core, we recognize, and then we can let them go. Then we take action into living the life that we're meant to have and being the person we're really meant to be. Has anyone read the 4 agreements? Yes? Well, it's not news to you, but always a refresher is great, isn't it? And I read, as I said, I read it first nearly 30 years ago. And I've taught it many times, and I told you I have my 2 particular favorites that work so much for me on a regular basis. I don't want to say favorites, they're all fabulous, but they're very practical action in my life. He writes that a person's life is determined by these agreements that they've made with themselves about what's possible for them and how they should behave and their worth, our worth as a person. So his book is an invitation to break free from the old, oppressive, mostly subconscious agreements and live a fuller, happier life. We all want that, don't we? No problem with that. Now let's touch on what these 4 agreements are. First agreement. Does anyone, I know a lot of you have read it. Someone going to give me the first agreement? It's probably up there already. Be impeccable with your word. Simple, but powerful. In fact, he calls it the most important of the 4 agreements. He writes that your word is the power you have to create. What other animal has spoken word? Just the human animal, as far as we know, on this planet. The first agreement is speaking only what you mean, avoiding negativity, directing your words toward positive outcomes, toward positive thoughts. Your words, you know, we say in the movement, in this philosophy, thoughts are things. Words are things. They are causal. They are creative. And we also believe in the the law of cause and effect, the law of mind. What we put out there returns to us. Different forms, perhaps, but there's a flow that's going with what we put out into our world. Also, the thoughts we tell ourselves. So it's about being mindful of your language and its impact on yourself, because we're talking to ourselves all day long. So it's important about that impact on yourselves and others. We say the impact can be life-affirming. Let's say this, we're positive words, loving, forgiving, encouraging, or it can be painful, devastating, destructive. Either choice has impact. And I say choice because when it all comes back to us, we have choice. We do have choice. The more fully that we can realize that, we can make a conscious effort. We all fall back, we slip, but if we constantly are determined to make a conscious effort to be more mindful, more kind, more impeccable with our word, we know that we're making a positive impact on the world around us. So remember, what you put out does return to you, so it benefits us and our world to put out as many kind-hearted, positive, encouraging words as we possibly can. Ruiz calls the word the tool of magic, but cautions that like a sword, it has two edges and cuts both ways. So your word can create the most beautiful dream, or it can destroy everything around you. One word can change a life or destroy the lives of millions of people. He also reminds us that words are like seeds that are planted in a fertile soil of the mind. However, he tells us that the mind soil is fertile only for the seeds it's prepared for. So what do you think your fertile mind is prepared for? If we have a mainstream of being down and worried and frightened, suspicious, the world just never works for me, what do you think the kind of seeds are going to be that we attract into that mind? Well, the universe always says yes, so, oh, here you go, here's another problem for you. Just trying to do my work up here. So, it's important that our own field is ready for seeds of love and not fear, of lifting up, of not tearing down. This reminded me of the Cherokee legend of an elder who told his grandson, you have two wolves fighting inside of you, a good wolf and an evil wolf. And the little boy's eyes got big and he said, which one will win? And his grandfather, the elder, said, the one you feed. So we each have those wolves inside of us. And they're struggling always for our attention. They want us on their team. They want to be able to impact our lives. But we get to choose the wolf we feed. We get to choose the seeds we draw into our fertile mind. And when we feed the goodness, the kindness, the compassion, and support, which I think almost everyone in this room, that would be your vote. Or we feed the harmful wolf, and I'm just not a fan of the word evil, so I used harmful. And with that, we could do it with words that are lies or fear or mistreatment or injustice. So Don Miguel reminds us that impeccability of our word can lead to our personal freedom, take away all fear, and transform your life. So remember, be impeccable with your word. The second agreement, do not take anything personally. Whoa, disclosure, this was a toughie for me. Holy moly. And it still comes up, but oh man, I've gotten so far past it. Do not take anything personally. How are you all with that? Is it easy? Not easy. Does it take real commitment to try to say, that's not about me? This agreement is a reminder that not everything is about you or me. Did you know that? I'm sure we've thought about that at some point. But somehow when we're taking in stuff, it feels very personal. So, I ask you, because I really did say when I first read this, how can I not take that personally? If someone came up to you and directed a disparaging remark to you or smacked you across the face, do you think you would take that personally? I mean, it would be hard not to feel that it was personal, right? But I wondered that too. And if someone says something difficult or does something physical, and we are in a world where physical things happen, assaults happen, encounters happen. How can that not be personal? Well, it really took me a long time to read and reread and try to get what he was telling us. His words are very clear that everyone is reacting to their own life experience, their disappointments, their indignities, their pain, their perspective, their experience of the world, and their ways of coping. So it really doesn't have anything to do with us. It's all about them. And such is true for us when things come spilling out of us. It's really about what's going on in here. How are we handling it? So it was really good for me personally to reach that point where I got it. Took a while, but I got it. It finally made sense to me. And that is not about excusing behavior. It's not about saying there shouldn't be accountability for something that's not appropriate. But it frees us from the question of, why would they do that to me? What did I do? Why am I a bad person? Self-inquiry, and not the best kind of questions, more accusatory. So, as I realized that concept, it led me to a more compassionate way of looking at my own words to myself and to anyone else, and to anyone who may be bringing up things that I'm challenged by. So that keeps me, or us, from an immediate reflex response. If we just take a breath, get centered, and make a conscious thought about how we're going to reply. And most likely it's going to be more appropriate and kinder. So remember, don't take anything personally. Okay, how about this one? That second one, don't take things personally and don't make assumptions. Those are my two biggies. So how are you about assumptions? Do we make many assumptions? Kind of a human quality, isn't it? Now, many years ago, the first comment I kind of heard about assume was, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Well, Don Miguel doesn't go there. He does, however, school us about assumptions, saying, and this is heavy, all the sadness and drama you have lived in your life was rooted to making assumptions and taking things personally. We create a lot of emotional poison just by making assumptions and taking things personally. And he adds, because usually we start gossiping about our assumptions. And he refers to gossip as the transfer of poison to another person. Wow. Just take a moment to think about that. We can actively manufacture and transfer poison to other people. I don't think we want that on our resume, do we? So the reason we make these assumptions is because we don't know what's going on. And we fear asking a question to get clarity on a situation, whether it's a look that someone gave us or a word that was said or we didn't get the job, whatever it was. So, in our very creative minds, we just make up the story. And we're very elaborate and very good at making up elaborate stories about what the situation is, which has nothing to do with truth. When we continue to think, speak, and act from our imagined reality, chaos ensues. Does anyone in here need more chaos in their life? Nah. I'd rather leave chaos as a word that's just there in the dictionary that never really comes into my own life. So remember, he's telling us it's always better to ask questions than to make assumptions, because assumptions set us up for suffering. Suffering. We do not need suffering. We believe in a philosophy that says we're here to live life and live it abundantly and to enjoy it and to enjoy others and to celebrate it. We don't need suffering. So plain and simple, we can let that go. The fourth agreement, and this last of the four, always do your best. He writes that this agreement is about the action of the first three agreements, and he encourages you to always do your best, no more, no less, while asking us to remember that our changes moment by moment. Think about it. Life itself is fluid, always changing. So too is your best. Your best when you're sick, tired, overworked, overwhelmed, sad, in grief. Your best is going to be probably pretty low by what your normal is. But guess what? If your intention that day is to do your best, you've done it. And other days, the world is going great. Your best is up here, and you're rocking it, and you're loving it. And there's no need to compare. There wasn't a success and a failure. Both of those were your best. Clay, tell me how many minutes. I can't read it. Okay. Oh, okay. We're going to skim right through the fourth agreement. Okay. We're going to give you half of this here. Anyway, what can I say? So much good stuff. When I taught this, it was in 4 weeks. We took an agreement a week. Hard to bring it into 20 minutes, so I'm going to wrap this on up here. Okay. So always do your best, but he reminds us we do fall down. He tells about it, he falls down. Just get up, dust yourself off, and the next day, let your intention be to always do your best. And also remember that action is what you're doing. Doing your best is taking action, and that's about living fully. And he says, I liked this line. It was nice to revisit it. Inaction is the way we deny life. Expressing who you are is taking action, and action is always in the present moment. So I'm going to mention here that there's also, now that we've done some sort of cliff notes on the 4 agreements, there is a follow-up book, the 5th agreement. I don't know if many of you have read that. But, I knew we'd run out of time, so that's just the teaser in case you're interested in revisiting that one. So what came about me with these agreements, too, was that we are in very perilous times in history. And that can make people feel mad, sad, confused, frightened, even threatened, and at risk on a daily basis. And if you're paying attention, it's not difficult to have these feelings. However, it truly does no good for us or the situations to linger in negative emotions, fear, doubt, anger, hostility that can drain us of our hope, our faith, our confidence, our peace in ourselves and in this thing called life. And it can also lead to being a part of the problem rather than the solution. And we're solution people, aren't we? Okay. So when we have these emotions spilling over us, I'm going to skip this. I just say, go to your toolbox, go to your best book, your favorite verse, biblical or out of the text or any number of things. Take 10 minutes to just meditate on what a wonderful world you have. State your truths, spiritual mind treatment, declaration, whatever it may be. Don Miguel says, we were born with the right to be happy. You were born with the right to love, to enjoy, and to share your life. You are alive, so take your life and enjoy it. You can only do your very best when you are you. Be your authentic self, who you are destined to be. Be a nerd, be an academic, just be you. The world is waiting for you. In closing, famous words, let me ask you this. Can we be in agreement that there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are and we can use it? Yes. Can we be in agreement that life is for us and never against us? Can we be in agreement to actively live our lives authentically? And finally, can we be in agreement to be impeccable with our word, to not take anything personally, to not make assumptions, and to always do our best? You are wonderful. And so it is. Treatment now? Yes. So I have a blessing to share with you. I'm going to begin just a brief statement, and then take us into a blessing that has nothing to do with the four agreements, except that as you hear it, there are common threads. And it's by an acclaimed Irish theologian, author, and poet, John Downey, and it's called Blessing for Presence. But first, let me invite you to just close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Center into your core of your being. Let the music comfort you, surround you, embrace you, caress you. And know that there is one life, one perfect life. That life is God. That life is Spirit. That life is perfect. And that life is our life now. And in this moment, I claim for each and every one here and everyone watching that this is the life that animates you, that sustains you, supports you, encourages you, protects you, loves you. And I know that we embrace the four agreements and we choose to make better choices, more positive choices, more frequently in our life, because those are what we believe in. And I give thanks for that. And as I share this blessing with you, and there will be a handout for you as you leave if you want to take it home. I also send this out to Reverend Tracy, her mom, and the whole family. Awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your presence. Have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. Receive encouragement when new frontiers beckon. Respond to the call of your gift and the courage to follow its path. Let the flame of anger free you from all falsity. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame. May anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of soul. Take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. Be consoled in the secret symmetry of your soul. May you experience each day as a sacred gift, woven around the heart of wonder. And I know this blessing resonates with each of you and cooperates with you in that heart of wonder. And for this I give thanks as I send these words out into the perfect activity of mind, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is.